I hope the screen is clear and my voice is clear. So I begin.
Yeah, it is clear. It is clear.
Okay. So welcome you all. Before I create some credibility for my words. So we are talking about US as the higher education destination today, and with the audience as a mix of students applying or aspiring to go for bachelor's, master's, and PhD. So I will try to cover different aspects. I have been working with few organizations earlier. So I will give a brief introduction about that. So I went to North Carolina State University on a full scholarship. So that is like I was a teaching assistant. With that, my tuition fee gets waived and I get a stipend. So this is a kind of scholarship which a lot of you can aspire for. University of North Carolina Chapel Hill was the place where I joined right after North Carolina State University. So I was a lecturer there. And then I joined the US Consulate's Education USA department. So that was developing at that time and expanding into India as well. So Education USA is the education department of US Department of State, the visa office of the US Consulate, as you generally know about. So through that, a set of advisors across India and across the world. So across the world, there are more than 400 centers who advise students to go to the US, and it's accurate, comprehensive, and current information. Then, after a lot of work at USIEF, hosted Education USA. Is there something on chat? So the voice is not clear yet, or I can.
Himanshu, it is slightly distorted, but we can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because at your end it's fine. So then, so after a lot of work with the U.S. Department of State, like the U.S. government, I was with the Ministry of Higher Education of UAE, which invited me to assess that as well. So, and then I expanded the Princeton Review Admission Consulting Services. After that, when I got into counseling students, I saw the need for training the counselors, because there is only so much which you can do on your own. So I joined as a director at the IC3 conference, which trains and advises and mentors counselors, across India and even other places. And I was part of developing the IC3 Institute from scratch. So those were few things which I got associated with, but at the heart, I stay an advisor, I stay a counselor. I would like to work with students on a daily basis, on a long-term basis, that I can make a difference. So currently I'm working with multiple organizations, and we are working on some projects with Mr. Vijay here as well. So when we go and see what all we do, these are few things which I'm involved right now. So we have tentatively named the project as Career Lift, and Mr. Vijay is part of it, and we are a trio of like-minded people, and we are trying to give a career lift to students at different stages, and we will announce that soon for all of you. And then I'm fortunate to be invited as a career guidance facilitator at South Asia IB Schools Association, having worked with multiple schools and sharing a good rapport with the president of South Asia Ivy Schools Association, Mr. Kaishar Gopashi, who was kind enough to invite me to mentor the career guidance advisors at multiple schools. Then at the Confederation of Indian Industry, I was part and am working on some education components. I was appointed as the Global Goodwill Ambassador and try to do some good work with that. And then there are multiple education networks which I am associated with, like the Podar Education Network, the Singhania Schools, we are working on a nice project. Then Singapore Education Network, we are trying to work some in that area as well. And then there are other HR and career related organizations like Youth Startup Network, where I did some work and then planning on new projects as well. Then there is Pushti HR Solutions based in Dubai. We are trying to create a lot of advisory solutions. And then Total Solutions Group based in Delhi, and then working on multiple industry networks. And then a new organization called Unlearn Q, so working with them as well. I think these annotations I need to disable, so annotate clear drawings. So these annotations may be disturbing you, right? So is there an option of disabling them? Okay.
Yes, you can do that from your end.
Yeah, so annotations I think were there. Okay. So moving on to the real work, where you would be interested in and where I would want to showcase what all we should do. So here are a few stories, and I will give brief idea on that, and then we have a poll for you where you can choose which story should I go about, because ultimately whatever information I give, I may tell you what is the application process, I may tell you which are the top universities, I may tell you that this is how you can get in, but ultimately the thing which will work the most for you are the stories of similar students in grade 9, 10, 11, 12, bachelor's, master's, PhD, how they are able to transform their profiles. The transitions are pretty exciting. So I would love to share some of these. So the first one comes here is a student who had 25 backlogs at one of the NITs. And again, I have nothing against NITs, I have nothing against backlogs, I have nothing against any student, and of course nothing against BMW or Germany. But what we are trying to say here is that a student who got into NIT, that means he was a bright student. And then somehow he got 25 backlogs. That does not mean he cannot go for any placements, whether at a university or at the industry. Because this is how we feel. And then as a counselor, as an advisor, you are able to make a difference in their lives. And that's why I talk about he went on to go to BMW in Germany, right? And being a mechanical engineer, that is like cherry on the cake. So this is one story which I would love to share. Then I have story of mentee who came from the Bharavi slums, which are considered the largest slums, not just in India but Asia and even other places, and now working at Dropbox in San Francisco. And then of course I don't take full credit on that. But I would want to share that story. Then a lot of times people will say, if I want to get a scholarship, I'll have to compromise on the university. A lot of times people say that, and every day, every month, every year, every location. So I worked in multiple locations. Everywhere I see this. People say that if I go for a scholarship or if I go for a cheaper study, then I'll have to compromise on the university. And I know when you are interested in US, you always talk about the Ivy League, So I have a story to share and maybe multiple stories to share, that you could not just first get into an Ivy League institution, second, you can also get up to full scholarship. Then there is a story about multiple scholarships at multiple universities, you know. So let's say you get a scholarship at one and you're not satisfied. So here there is a story about 50% scholarship offers from multiple universities, like 5 universities, and again these are 5 top good universities where you get a scholarship offer. Then I hope all of you saw the movie called Three Idiots. And
Yes, sir.
just love it, you know. So when we talk about Three Idiots, you know, all of the students are able to relate to it because very few students would like to be like maybe Chatur, you know. On the other side, everybody wants to be like the character played by, you know, Amir Khan, like what do you call it, Funsuk Wangru, you know. And then I was fortunate enough to meet the real Funsuk Wangru, Mr. Sonam Wangchuk, about 6 months ago, and the way he receives people and the way people receive him, you know, is a love created through Three Idiots as well. But even before Three Idiots, there was a book by Mr. Chetan Bhagat called 5 Point Someone. So I don't know whether you know what 5 point someone means. 5 point someone means this is a GPA. So GPA on a scale of 10. So 5 point someone means somebody who scores a GPA of 5 point something, like 5.2, 5.6 on a scale of 10, which is like not directly like that, but we can assume something like if it is 5 point someone, that is like 50% marks, right? So I dealt with a student with 4.6 GPA on a scale of 10. And fortunately or unfortunately, that was also one of our NITs where the student struggled to get a good GPA. And he got a 4.6 GPA, and now he's working at Amazon. Right? Then we talk about rejects. When we talk about rejects, we feel that reject is the end of something. And especially when things like MIT, you know, all of us know and hear about MIT, an institution which we give high regard, sometimes even higher regards than our IITs, but I'm not contesting them. I'm saying that, you know, somebody thinks about MIT, somebody gets serious about MIT, and somebody applies to MIT, and then a lot of them get rejected. But then when a student says that I really, really, really want to go to MIT and I know that I'm a good fit, what will I say? What will I tell that student? That okay, no worries, we will apply to other universities. That's how counselors would react or act. No worries, MIT is tough for everyone. But then if the student is there who really wants to, there is a story where I share that after a reject from MIT, the student got in within 6 months. So the next semester itself, the student got into MIT and got an honors and scholarship. On the other side, people are there who are not able to score very well. The people who are not able to score very well mean low GRE, low SAT. So I talked about low marks. Then there are entrance exams, like at the bachelor's level, you take an exam called SAT, you take an exam called ACT. For a master's level, you take exams called GRE, GMAT. So I have a story here where the student was all out for GRE. First attempt, not a good score. Second attempt, not a good score. Third attempt, not a good score. And she was ready for the fourth attempt. I said, stop. You already tried GRE for 3 times. For last 7-8 months, you are only doing GRE. GRE is the graduate record examination, which is the entrance exam needed to crack into master's and PhD programs. And then we worked on the profile, and of course, she went on to go to Harvard. Yeah, we'll take the questions, Sharvil. So the stories are interesting, but these stories are mine. Mine means not really mine, but I have been part of these stories. So I will tell these stories. So none of these stories are inspiring stories from somewhere else. I'm not giving you a story of Sundar Pichai. I'm not giving you a story of Bill Gates. I'm not giving you a story of Steve Jobs. I'm not giving you a story of Kalpana Chawla. Right? These are all stories where I was part of their stories. And of course, they are living their own lives and reporting to me that, you know what, I'm doing this, and I feel pride every morning when I listen to these stories. You know, on my Facebook, I just shared a few stories again, which I saw this morning. So this morning itself, a student who completed her PhD, posted something, and then I shared the stories that I remember how I advised her. And then, of course, she's just happy that I remember her. So we will come to those stories. So here I was coming to that after scoring low on an entrance exam, you can still go to a university like Harvard, right? Then there is a story about, let's say, I want to do engineering. So people will say, if you're scoring low on math, maybe you should do something other than engineering. I'm not saying that. Of course, that could be a solution. That okay, you're not scoring well on math, so maybe there is something else for you. But if the student is there, like the first student here, 25 backlogs, wanted to do mechanical engineering and automotive research center and all that. So here we are talking about a student who got 50 marks. And this was a student from Abu Dhabi school, and the mother came to me that this kid has shattered all our dreams. I really was looking forward to sending him to the US. Now the father is like, with 50 marks, how can we get him? How will I invest? Will he be able to do anything there with 50 marks in the math? Right? And then he went on to go to a top university. I'm not naming the university here because again, I don't want to be on that side that I say that with 50 marks, why did the university take it? But I could say that it is a rank 8, 9 kind of university in mechanical engineering, right? Then, of course, a lot of times visa is an issue. Everybody talks about US visas, US visas, US visas. Every day we blame Trump for something or the other. Everybody says that it's so obvious how the US scenario is. And I don't get it. I don't understand what is wrong there. What is wrong which is restricting you from applying to the best undergraduate programs, to the best master's programs? And again, we will discuss that. I'm happy to take any of the questions from you. So I hope some of these stories excite you, and then I'll come back to them and ask you which one you like and where can I expand more, because I'm getting questions and exciting questions as answers. So maybe I can take a story now and one later. So moving on, I would go on to say,
should we launch a poll, Himanshu?
okay, let's do that.
Okay, so audience, I'm launching a poll. So we are telling you to select any of the two stories which are mentioned on the poll. Okay, I have now the poll is on your screen. Maybe you can pick two stories on which Himanshu can elaborate and expand. Okay, so you can tick two questions. Two stories. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, go on. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, 57% of the people have scored so far. Fantastic. Few more inputs. Yeah.
Okay, 60-60 for Harvard and 50% in math.
Yeah.
61
We have almost 87% of the people have voted. Okay, so I am ending the poll and showing you the result that which are the two stories most of our audience are interested to know about. And I am sharing the results. So obviously, people would like to know a story about Harvard University, and followed by 50% in mathematics to rank 8th university in the world. Yeah. So Himanshu, here you go. Harvard plus 50% mathematics.
So this is interesting to know that one story has been chosen, low GRE to Harvard, which is at the grad level. So I think it's a good combination that one I work, the GRE of course is at the graduate level. So the students who are in their bachelors would be able to go to a university like Harvard or any of the top ones despite having a low GRE. So I'll share that. On the other side, this 50% marks in math are of course at the school level. So a student who is in grade 9, 10, 11 or 12 and scores low on math but still wants to get into a top university for any of the engineering. So good to have these. Of course, I'm always tempted to tell the story about 25 backlogs, but then these two are interesting stories as well. So let me go with what you say, the story with 3 times low GRE to Harvard. So now I am going with it, how it all started. So this is a story about a student who was doing bachelor's in biotechnology. So bachelor's in biotechnology at, and I can name because I named NIT, at one of the BITS Pilani campuses. Not the BITS Pilani, but one of the other campuses. So BITS Pilani has 3 more campuses. So this is a story about one of them. I was at at a stage where I met the girl where she was trying to get a high GRE score and wanting to get into a research-oriented master's program. So here, of course, to get into a university like Harvard or any of the top ones, the question is, GRE is the first hurdle. Because a lot of times students will say, let me complete my GRE and then I'll work on it. A lot of students will say, let me complete my GMAT and then I'll work on it. A lot of parents tell me that let the student, get his marks. Let him prove that he deserves it. Let her prove that she deserves it. Let them get the marks first. And then we will try to work on the applications. That doesn't work at all. Because you need time to work on other things. What if you get a high score on GRE or any of the SAT? You don't have time for other things? Right? What if you get low scores? Then again you don't have time to work on your profile? So waiting for marks to come doesn't really impact the efforts which you have to put into other things. So here I would say 5 things. So if all of you can raise your right or left hand like this and remember with these 5 fingers, what are the 5 important things you need to work on? Not in any order, but what are these 5 things where you can put all of the things which you really need to go to the right college, right? So I hope all of you have your hand in control and you go with me. One is of course the marks. Whether they count at the highest level or not, that's a different question. One is of course the marks because you're all students. Second, any of the tests which you do, which in this case is low, right? Let's say you're doing GRE but the score is low, right? Then the next one are the essays which you write, the statement of purpose, the SOP, the personal statement, any of the essays which you write, right? Then we are down to 2, the letter of recommendation which your teachers, mentors and other people write for you. Because that is a communication between 2 universities, 2 schools. Then the last one which remains are the activities which you are involved in. Now don't ask me which activity which will work for you. Any activity which can really work for you. So these are the 5 things, and of course I'll elaborate these as I finish the story. So the student, I can say that she was a girl, so doing bachelor's in biotechnology and wanted to apply to the top schools. So of course she thought, and everybody around her thought, that we will work anything to get her a good GRE score. First attempt, she got 308. So on a scale of 340, generally speaking, we count 320, 325 to be a good score. So on a scale of 340, so I don't know how many of you know about it, 340 is the total score. And out of that, we count 320, 25 to be a good score for top universities. This student got 308, which is generally a low score for Indian students. So 308. Second attempt, she slipped from 300. Third attempt, she got again closer to 308. So not able to go beyond 308. So of course, if you ask any number of people that can you even think about applying to Harvard or any of those kind of schools with 308, everybody would be like 100% reject, 100% reject, no chance. Everybody would say that there is no chance with this. So what is GRE? So the question here, what is GRE? GRE is the Graduate Record Examination, right? So that is the entrance exam which you need to enter a master's or PhD program in the US and in some other countries as well. That's what GRE is. So at the bachelor's level, to get into bachelor's program, you take SAT or ACT. And to get into master's and PhD programs, you do GRE or GMAT. Right? That's what GRE is. So this student, and again, that's what I was saying, that everybody would say that there is no chance. But then, after the third attempt, I said, stop. You already wasted 8 months to get a high score on GRE. You are a biotechnology student. You are a researcher. You spend a lot of time in the lab. Let us highlight that. Your highlight is research. Your highlight is not to score good on math and English on GRE. This is the sign which really started our journey. And then we tried to showcase our research interest, our research potential, our research work. What do I mean by research? How do I do research? What do I show in passion when I do research? Right? That's the approach which actually works. Yeah, there's some messages in chat, so I keep checking on that if it is more on logistics or more on clarity, because ultimately I want to get the message to you all. So this is how we started. So then our focus was, so again, out of all 5, 1 was down. GRE was low, so 1 was of course down, right? Marks maybe fine, maybe not fine, it's a different issue. Then we have to work on other 3 things. What are the activities which prove that you are a researcher? What are the essays which we can write to show our research potential? What is the letter of recommendation and from whom we can get it to get good recommendation, right? So this is what we worked on. So the essay, the letter of recommendation and the activities. Again, the activities here do not mean whether I have to win the best research paper award or I have to publish and everything. This student had no publication, had the research potential, but not the publication yet. I've seen students who had 5 publications, but still were not able to get into good colleges, right? So it is not about having something with you or not having something with you. It is all about the approach. So that student, of course, we applied to 10 universities across. And then one day, she got an admit to another university, and I don't want to name it. So another university she got in and with some scholarship. But then she came to me and said that, sir, what should I do? That university has, guns on campus, So what do I do? So I was like, what can I do? We can't do anything. We applied there, we got admitted, and they are excited to have you. So let's go ahead and we'll take care of us from the guns. So what happened here? One more thing which I would like to share. She used to come to my cabin. The mother would sit right at the right of her, so she would sit on the left, and mother would sit on the right, and the father would come and he would sit in the corner. So he wasn't involved in the discussions. But the only thing he used to say is, and Himanshu sir, what about Howard? And sir, Howard? And Howard? So he would only say these 2-3 words. I would say, yes, of course we will apply. See, I had no magic wand in my hand. I had no idea that we can get into Harvard. But I made sure that we worked towards it and we got into 1 or 2 of the top universities. But then when she got into Harvard, I appreciated, I recalled and told the dad that, she got into Harvard because of you. You kept her motivated and you kept me motivated. Because the only thing you used to say was, and sir Howard, and Howard, that's it. Right? But on the other side, of course, the student was working very hard on it. Right? But we need to understand what we need to work on. Here the thing is that we tell everybody to work on marks. Right? That's not the way. So here we worked on the essays, and in those essays, we did not just work on talking about the achievements only, because I already told you, researcher does not mean that you have 5 publications. Researcher only means that you are an aspiring researcher. You want to do research and you are doing research. Now, whatever it is. So I don't know how much you can relate to the story, but now I move on to the next story, 50% in math. Now this is a completely different story. Because this is for the school students. So this student was in grade 11 at that point, and as I told you, this was a student in Abu Dhabi, but it was an Indian student from an Indian school, So an Indian student from an Indian school, and I met the mother and the kid who had 50 marks. So the mother was like, we were all focused to send him to the US. But then he's scoring 50 marks in math. What do we do? And of course, the dramatic scenes, how we see with due respect to all our Indian mothers, they love us so much. The thing was that, oh my God, our all dreams are shattered. हमारे तो सपने थे कि अमेरिका जाएगा, और वहां से इंजीनियरिंग करेगा और कैसे होगा, हमारे तो सारे सपने, आई डोंट रिमेम्बर एग्जैक्टली बिकॉज व्हाटएवर इट इज, अब क्या होगा हमारे सपनों का, इसके पापा ने तो साफ मना कर दिया है। इसके पापा ने तो अब साफ मना कर दिया है कि 50 नंबर लाएगा मैथ में तो चांस ही नहीं है, किसी फालतू यूनिवर्सिटी में हमें भेजना नहीं है, और 50 नंबर के साथ इसका कैसे होगा कहीं पर। एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स I would never say no. I would say let's work on it. And here I would want to give a message to you. And you all can work in that direction from now itself. So what I like is, at the bachelor's level in the US, it is nothing about mechanical engineering or something like that. At the bachelor's level, it is a holistic admission. So what do you mean by holistic admission? Now, be very careful. Whatever numbers you are scoring in math, you have to do some math, right? And again, you can be on chat to answer that. It can be flooded, but what I mean to say here is that you need to understand the credit system in the US. Like I told you, I studied at a US university, I've taught at a US university, I work with the US government, Education USA program. So I got very deep into those things, the credit system. Generally speaking, to get a bachelor's in the US, you need 120 credits. Now, what does a credit mean? A credit means number of hours you are studying per week for that semester is the credit which you get. Let's say you have a class called Introduction to Algebra, right? Introduction to Algebra happens 3 hours a week. It may happen on Monday, Wednesday and Friday 8 to 9 a.m. So generally speaking, you will study it for 3 hours per week for the whole semester. Because you are studying 3 hours per week for the whole semester, you get 3 credits to succeed in that class. Everybody got it?
Yes, sir.
I will repeat because this is very important. You study for 3 hours per week per semester to get 3 credits for that class when you pass that class, right? For a bachelor's degree, which is generally 4 years in the US, you need to get 120 credits. And we don't get a bachelor's in mechanical engineering or a bachelor's in biotechnology or a bachelor's in computer science like that in India. In the US, it would be a major. The bachelor's is in Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Arts or something like that. You do a major, and that major is just about 45 credits. So out of 120 credits for bachelor's, if you get 45 credits for your major, so some of you can put it on chat, how many credits remain? Very good, Tejas. So Tejas is the first one to say. So I would request Vijay sir to note down Tejas's number. So Tejas Sarode and Mayank Sen and Rutuja Gole. Maybe I can take a picture of this to see. And okay, so these 3 should get Harshada, Devashri. So good, So you're scoring good on math. So it wasn't a high level math, but still, in math it is important to score early, right? So out of 120 credits, you have to cover only 45 credits to get that major, right? So this is the key to get into the best undergraduate programs in the US, and of course get scholarships as well, right? So it is not about just one mark. It is not just about one subject. It is not about one class. It is not about one semester, right? So in the whole bachelor's degree, you would be dedicating only about 45 credits, and 75 credits are not directed towards your major. That means, coming back to the question, coming back to the story, out of 120 credits where you are going for bachelor's in mechanical engineering, you are not dedicating more than 45 hours of work. Again, it is more than 45 hours. What I mean to say is credit hours, So it is not more than 45 credits out of 120 which you are dedicating to mechanical. Again, that is the minimum. You can dedicate more. You can dedicate 50, 55, 60, 70, 80, 90. You can dedicate more. But the other 75 is a choice. You can do a double major, you can do double minor, you can do a major and minor. So you can do a major in mechanical engineering and minor in history, or minor in music, or minor in biology, or a minor in business, or a minor in entrepreneurship, or a minor in Hindi, or a minor in Marathi, or a minor in whatever you want to do. I hope my message is clear here. So now coming back to the story, I asked the student, and again that question I'm asking you all as well. So be very clear. Let's see, if we have to make a movie on your life, right? Let's say we have to make a movie on your life. What would you show in the trailer? Right? Like most of you must have seen the movie on Mahendra Singh Dhoni, who just retired, and the social media is flooded with love for MS Dhoni, right? So in the MS Dhoni trailer, he was seen running around, right? He was a ticket collector, so he was seen running on the train platform, in the trains, on the cricket grounds, switching from the black coat to the white shirt, right? This is what we were seeing. So from the formal wear for the TT to the sports wear to play cricket, that's what we saw. So in the MS Dhoni story, in the MS Dhoni trailer, that's what we are seeing. That he's running around. He's running near the train, outside the train, running from one place to the other, right? So this is what you need to see. So there are some messages on chat. Most of the audiences are either rural than the rural understand terms like GRE or minor. Okay. See, major is 45 credits and a minor is 15 credits. You understood the credit system? So there's a question on the credit system. I know it's not easy to understand, but I want to put that seed in your thought from now itself. It is not that I talk to you in our 10th meeting to talk about it. I want you to understand. So minor is about 15 credits and major is about 45 credits. So when you go for a bachelor's, you understand that, right? Just whenever you're talking about MS Dhoni. So let's say we take that career as an education, right? Just to take an example. So you could major in becoming a TTE, right? And could minor in playing cricket. Or you could major in cricket and the TTE together. Again, it's a hypothetical. It doesn't happen. I'm saying if we take that career into education, right? So you can do a major with 45 credits towards it, and you can do a minor with 15 credits towards anything, right? And of course, we will talk more about it, So here the question is, when we are talking about 120 credits, we are not just talking about one thing. We can always move ahead than math marks, right? So my question to you was, let's say we make a movie on your life. If some of you can volunteer and tell me in one line, what will you show in the trailer? What are you doing in the trailer? Let's say it is about 30 seconds trailer. So in those 30 seconds, what will you show in the majority of 10 to 15 seconds? If some of you can volunteer and tell me, what are you doing in your movie trailer? So I wait and see. See, let's not be confused with the credit system. Whatever you got, you got. We will talk about it. See, I know it's complicated, but don't get carried away with that. I gave you an idea. That is only to get an idea. Right? I know it's too early for that, but that is only to get an idea that all of the hours, you are not spending for that only. Right? So now my next question is, what do we see in your movie trailer? Okay, surrounded with books. So Tejas, if you can be clear. So surrounded by books means you are reading books for about 10-15 seconds. Mayank is doing physical training. Good. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. The struggle is not clear, Shivam. You should tell us what are you struggling about, what are you doing. And same for Rutuja as well. You know, failures and successes. You have to picturize it. How do you picturize your failure? Are you crying? How do you picturize your success? Are you, pumping your hands, pumping your fists in the air? What is that? You have to make it vivid, right? So good attempts, good attempts. And again, I would love to, listen to you all. And of course, I think that these things are getting recorded and we would be able to take up these things later. So now coming back to the story of that kid who scored 50 marks in math, I exactly asked this question. So what are you doing in your movie trailer? And he had no answer first. And the mother would be like, what will he do in that? So my question was, just imagine. Who are you with? What are you doing? Majority of time. So that, student said, and I'm getting good stories here. Our struggles reach that platform as everyone judges the success, but no one cares about struggles. Good. Failing have the power to stand up again. Subjects, good. So good views. So now what I was saying that with that student, I asked, and again through the mother's discussion and the kids' discussion, we come to know that of course he is sitting with his friends. So he wasn't doing much creative in that sense, what the world thinks. I said, tell me about a story about your friends. So a story where you got into trouble because of your friends. Because a lot of times we will relate to it that a lot of times friends may not, just jokingly saying, friends may not be part of our success stories, but they're always part of our tragic stories, So my question was that tell me a time when because of your friends, you were in certain trouble, right? And then we went back to a story of, mind you all are part of it. The story about tomato ketchup. Yes, you heard it right. The story about tomato ketchup got him into one of the best universities in the world. I love repeating it. Story about tomato ketchup. Now, what is the story here? The story here is that, tomato ketchup is, of course, it's there in, what do you say, different containers. It comes in a glass bottle. It comes in, plastic where you can open it like that. It comes in small sachet also, which you get at McDonald's and other places. You get it in small sachet as well. So this is a story about where the mother kept the tomato ketchup in the student's tiffin with the sandwiches, right? So she made sandwiches and that tomato ketchup, and of course, notoriously, the friends opened the tiffin, and again, we also used to do it at the back bench. See, I was a mix of back bench and front bench. So at the back bench, we opened tiffin sometimes and, tried to see what did we get. So some of the friends took out and saw the tomato ketchup, the sachet, the small sachet tomato ketchup. And one of the friends started to play with it, and again it was like pichuk. So the tomato ketchup was on the wall in the classroom. So the classroom wall had tomato ketchup. So that was a transition between two periods, and when the next teacher came into the class, she saw some students creating a mess, and the proof was there on the wall. Tomato ketchup was on the wall. Now, a typical teacher would ask, who did this? And of course, all of them were there, and they started to blame each other. Friends started to blame each other. Somebody said he did it, somebody said he took it out, So of course the blame game would be the one who took out the tiffin, the one who took the sachet, the one who, put it on the wall, and of course that kid who got it, because in these kind of situations, the one who got it is never the culprit, is the victim here, right? So here, the tomato ketchup was all on the wall. And this is how the story begins. The teacher, of course, punished them, told them, asked them what happened, what did not happen, and everybody was blaming each other. And of course, when the chaos increased, the parents were called. That, this is what your son is doing, right? And the kid, the poor kid and the poor mother. The kid blamed the mother in front of everyone. That I told you not to put tomato ketchup. If you wouldn't have put tomato ketchup in my tiffin, this wouldn't have happened. Now, the mother is always giving you tomato ketchup because you love it.
Yes.
It's not that it's so nutritious and every mother wants you to have tomato ketchup on a daily basis. That's not true. You love it, you like it. You love it more than the sabzi, you love it more than the dal, you like it. And that's why the mother kept it in the tiffin. That with your sandwiches, this is the tomato ketchup which you can use. And the mother cried. The emotional mother I already introduced. And most of our mothers are super emotional but super powerful. So that was the life lesson for the kid. And we talked about this in the essay. That this is how everybody blamed each other, and ultimately I blamed the mother who was giving me food on a daily basis, morning, afternoon, evening, at the night, in the morning, preparing food for you, in the morning at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., preparing the tiffin for you and your dad and everything. And now you blame the mother. So through this, we got a story out that how this guy, how this student, how this boy learned that the world will always blame each other. Since that day, there was a period of personal growth in my character. For last 2 years, I have never blamed anyone for any of the failures or any of the tragedies or any of the accidents in my life. And then, of course, he gave examples. So that's why even for 50% marks in math, he will not blame the teacher that the teacher did not teach me well. He will not blame the subject called math, that math is a tough subject, I cannot study. He did not blame the family, he did not blame the friends, he did not blame anyone, not even himself. He got 50% marks in math, he got 50% marks in math. There is nobody to blame. Then there is nobody to blame or claim for anything. Why should you blame or claim anything? It's all about learning. You have 50 marks, you have 50 marks. Next time you want 100 marks, get 100 marks. Next time you want to continue with 50 marks, you continue with 50 marks. So this is a big story of blame and claim of credits and discredits which he learned. You must be thinking to get into engineering program, why would I talk about all this? But this is how universities see. Even universities like MIT and Stanford and all of them will not give you admission on the basis that you made a drone or an aeroplane. No. They want to see the passionate, compassionate kids, thinkful kids, thoughtful kids. They want to see that. Right? So this is a completely different story. So both of these were very, very different stories, and thank you for choosing those. Right? And I hope this really, really inspires you, because I am looking forward to the good engagement which you all are having here, Right? So good stories you're sharing, I love this discussion. And, I hope I can see you all in person soon, post-corona. So these are a few stories. So I hope you love the two stories, and I really, really loved working on these students. And of course, these are few stories. Of course, I've worked with over 5,000 students. So at least 50 of these stories would be amazing to share, Now going on to the next thing, how do you start the journey?
Sir,
Zoya, you want to share something? If you can share on chat, because there is an issue on the audio and video. So Zoya, if you can write it and I will take it. I'll read it right now. Or maybe I can... Yeah, Zoya, so what do you want to ask? So Harshada is asking, how can we meet in person? I will message you. So you will get the details, because we already asked in the registration that do you want to have one-to-one session, right? So we will come to the questions. So maybe let me finish a couple more slides, right? And then we will take questions. Okay. So one is critical.
45 for masters and 15 for bachelors. Sorry. Yeah. They give some 204 credits total. You have to,
1 second, Himanshu, I'll just mute. Yeah. Okay, so student, what we are going to do is post Himanshu's presentation, we are going to have a Q&A. Okay, so don't worry about it. Yeah. Okay. Himanshu, go on. Hello.
sir, you are mute. Sir, you are on mute.
Mute yourself. Unmute
One
yourself.
Himanshu, unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Got it. So rankings is something which can be leading you to something, but can be very misleading as well. So you can start with rankings, but do not restrict yourself to that. If you are applying to a university, because it is ranked whatever number, it's not a good choice. But because you are exploring a university because it is top ranked, that is fine. So when you are trying to put universities on the table, then you can go with rankings. But finalizing it at rankings is not the best thing to do, because just a message here, the 8th rank, 28th rank, 78th rank or the 188th rank could be the best 4 universities for you. Because best 4 universities are not ranked 1, 2, 3 and 4 for you. You don't know that. You don't know what is there behind that ranking, you know. So now I don't do it, but then when I was at Education USA, you know, I along with my colleague, you know, we created a presentation, and when we went on the ranking slide, again, no offense to the organizations which I work with, because I work with QS and Times Higher Education and US News and other ranking agencies as well. No offense, but at that time, we created a slide, and I don't know whether we should do it or not. We created a slide and put the rankings with a huge picture of dustbin. Right? No offense, but we did that. Right? Significant time is invested. So if you ask me, when should we start the process? My answer is now. Right? My answer is now. It is make or break decision. How do you work on it? So shortlisting universities is very important. Shortlisting universities does not mean going on Google and searching for top universities for computer science. That's not shortlisting universities. You should exactly know why you are applying to which university. Right? So now I open it to questions. So over to you, Vijay sir. So you can take questions either from chat or from other sources, or if somebody is putting something on Facebook, I would be happy to take questions, and I think we are at 50 minutes. So we can take questions for next maybe half an hour. Sneha Pandey raised the hand. So I think I can stop sharing the screen.
Yeah, please do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a process to take up a question. Okay, so student, what you need to do is you need to just use a chat box, type your name, and then I will call out your name so that you can unmute and ask question directly to Himanshu. Okay, now this is an opportunity I'm creating for all of you to get connected with Himanshu directly. Okay, so please use a chat box, type your name. Okay, type your name. So here we go. We start with Ameya. Ameya, please unmute and ask question. Ameya, are you ready? If not, then I'm asking Zoya to go ahead. Zoya, you have a question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please ask your question.
Yeah, Zoya, you have to unmute. Yes.
Sir, my question is apart from the topic that you have thought. Can I just ask you?
Sure, yes.
Sir, only educated people are there in America or outside countries?
Say it again.
Sir, only the educated peoples are there out of countries?
Okay, educated, you know, so if I understand your question correctly, you mean to say that do we need to go for education to go to these countries?
Sir, I mean to ask you that only the educated peoples are there. No, it's not like any educated people are not there in that countries.
Yes. See, every country has people who are illiterates and are uneducated. Of course, you know, even in a country like America, there are so many people who are college dropouts. There are so many people who are not able to complete their high schools. There are so many people who, you know, in whose families they are the first ones to go to college. So that is there. So it is not just about India where we lack the literacy and we lack the education. And again, we talk about literacy and education in a different way, because you could be educated without literacy and you could be literate without education as well, right? So the thing is that every country needs people with good intentions to work towards, you know. So we have had a lot of people who did not complete their education but were able to do well. But that does not mean we take that example and do not educate ourselves. And education does not mean only about qualifications and degrees. Education means you should always read, you should always learn, you should always keep learning. Like even today, every day I'm enrolled in some courses or the other for last several years. So I haven't stopped learning from different courses. I still take courses from different universities, from different people. And when I, like I'm giving a talk on education in the US, right? But 2 days ago, I was listening to a talk on education in the US and actually on shortlisting universities. And you know who was presenting? One of my students was presenting. So one of my students at Education USA, he is an Education USA advisor now. And I met him and he tells me, and again, it was a big compliment to me. And I said, okay, how do you advise? How is the advising going? And when he tells me that, I just think, what would Himanshu sir do in this situation?
Hello.
It's the same with my student. That is a great compliment for me when he feels that way. And now he's advising, and I attended his talk, which was with the Texas University system, right? So we need to keep learning. Alvin Toffler, in the book Future Shock, which was written in 1970s, but now is being referred to again and again, is that the illiterates of the 21st century will not be the ones who cannot read or write. The illiterates of the 21st century would be the ones who cannot unlearn and relearn.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So thank you, Zoya.
This is Ameya's mom. Actually, he is attending some lecture.
Yes.
I am talking on his behalf. Like he is in 12th standard in science now. So is it? Too late now to go for it, or like still has time?
Okay. So 12th standard in science.
Yes.
So you mean he started with 12th standard, so he must be having his first term exams, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So as the timeline, and again, all of you can listen to this. This is important, and again, I wanted to cover that. To be in the US in August end or September of 2021.
Okay.
So programs begin somewhere between August 20 to September 10 of every year, right? So to be in the US in August 2021, you will have to submit applications by January 2021, generally speaking. Some are early, some are late also. So now what we have, speaking on 16th of August, we have half of August, we have September, October, November, December. Generally speaking, to work on, we have these 4 months.
Okay.
In these 4 months, we have to develop our 5 things which I said. What marks we have already achieved. Tests are mostly waived for this year. SAT is waived, ACT is waived, but if we have done, it's fine. If we haven't done, it's fine. Essays we have to work on. So 3 months out of these 4 months, we'll work on essays, letter of recommendation, and activities. And activities are not just about doing things. It is also about planning, replanning, organizing, and presenting also. A lot of times, you as a mother can really understand that. A lot of times, we see achievements as activities.
Right.
But achievements are not activities. Activities are activities.
So, sir, SAT, is there time for SAT like preparation?
My first homework to you would be, give me a long list of activities which Ameya is involved in. And that's how we begin. So to answer your question very clearly, is it late? Yes. But is it too late that we can't really work on? So to work on, to get to a top university, is there a chance still? Yes. Is there still a chance to get a scholarship? Yes.
Okay.
That does not mean that the mothers who are representing grade 11, grade 10 and grade 9, they are too early in it, right? So we haven't lost it. So it is good that we are talking on 16th of August because we have the final push in next 4-5 months, we can do it. So we can get into a top university and we can still get a scholarship.
But the SAT is not attempted yet. So is that
More than half of the universities, fortunately or unfortunately, this year because of Corona COVID, have waived SAT. And like some of the universities, like University of California system, UCLA, UC Berkeley, San Diego, Santa Barbara, Santa Cruz, Davis, all of those, they have waived SAT up till 2024.
okay? Okay.
Right? So that second thing which I talked about in the 5 things, that second thing which is the test,
Right.
even if it is not done, this year is a good chance to go ahead without it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to call out 4 names, next 4 names. So be ready. Now Yash Raut, Kaustubh Joshi, Tejas Sarode, and Shweta Deshmukh. Okay, we start with Yash. Yash, please unmute and ask your question.
I am Yash Raut. Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you. Ask your question.
Sir, I just passed my class 10 standard from a CBSE school, and I am willing hardly to go to study for in a MIT. So what are the preparation that I can start from the class from now or today, that it will be beneficial for me in SAT, and I will get advantages to take admission in a top universities.
Okay. So Yash, to answer that question, so good that you are starting early. So you are done with grade 10. And so you are in grade 10 or done with grade 10?
I am done with grade 10th.
Okay. So grade 11 is the most important year, because early of grade 12, like I was talking to Amay's mom, so early of grade 12, we would be applying, we would be working on the final push. So grade 11 is the time where we work on all this stuff. So again, one thing to take away is of course the stories, but other than that, these 5 things: your marks, your tests, essays, school recommendation, and activities. We have to work on all these 5 things together to make a strong application, right? So from now, you need to get into all these 5 things. And my first homework, like I said to you, would be give me a long list of activities, and you can always request for an appointment, and I would be happy to guide you now and up till grade 12 and beyond for your applications. So I hope this was a general question, so I answered it generally. And again, I'm happy to take the next question, which is from Tejas, I think.
Kaustubh.
Kaustubh. Okay, Kaustubh. Yes.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
So me too has now passed away 10th grade. I wanted to ask you that is it very important to get like that top colleges, we say like IITs, VGTIs, NIT? It is that important to do engineering from this college to go into top universities in America?
So, it is important to go to the top colleges for you. Like I showed in the final slide, that you need to go to the right college. Rank 8, rank 78, rank 188 could be the top 3 colleges for you. Let nobody else decide which are the top colleges. Let's say you want to study computer science. Nobody in this world, and again, no offense to the rating and ranking organizations, nobody has this right to tell us, not even Himanshu Dev or Vijay Sonavane, to tell you that Kaustubh, these are the top 3 universities for you. We can guide you that, okay, this is how you find the top 3 or top 4 universities for you. You know, in our ranking system, we will know in India to study computer science, you should go to IIT Bombay as number 1 rank. You know, IIT Bombay is #1 university in India to study computer science. In JEE, you have to be among the top 100 in JEE to get into computer science at IIT Bombay, right? But that does not mean that that is the top college for Kaustubh. So what my intention and what my message to you is, it is important to go to top colleges for you. And that is important. That is important. I'm not saying go to any college. And I'm not saying go to the top 10 colleges. I am saying go to the top 3, top 5 for you. So in the process, a process of 6 months, 1 year or 2 years, you try to dig into the process and you should have a list that these are the top universities for me. So MIT or IIT may or may not be the top college for you. If you say, sir, I want to go to the top college, I want to go to IIT in India or MIT in America, I'm not satisfied with it. I want to know from you, why is IIT the top college for you and why is MIT the top college for you? And actually IIT and MIT both cannot be top colleges for any student for me. Because IIT Bombay and MIT are entirely different institutions. The difference is not between I and M. These are entirely different institutions. I told you how it works in the US. US undergraduate system is entirely different from India. In India, you study 100% that only. In the US, you're not spending even 2 hours per day for that major. Right? So this is what my message is. To make it very clear, it is important to go to the top colleges for you. For Kaustubh, for Harsh, Swati, for Yash. But it's important to go to top college.
Yeah, Kaustubh, you would like to ask some follow-up question? Hello?
No, I was not asking like that, but I was. Hello.
Bolo.
Hello. Can I speak?
Yeah, speak.
I'm not asking that way, but before getting to top universities, they would also like to see that in India from where have you studied. So that is also important.
So this is correct. What you say is important, but what Himanshu is trying to tell you is that
those 5 things.
Yes, those 5 things are also important.
These 5 things, did I say anything about your current college? Did I ask you that did you study at this school or that school? Where is this? The only recommendation from the school, I said. The only thing is the recommendation from the school. And recommendation could be from any school or any college. I did not say that your current college really will make a difference. The current college or the current school will make a difference if you are able to score more, if you are able to crack into tests better, if your essays get better, if your letter of recommendation gets better, if your activities get better. Right? So that's my answer.
Sir, can you tell us how we can contact you and how this process works?
Yeah, wait. I'll call you.
We will come to it. Yeah, we will come to it.
We'll come to that. Okay. Yeah. So next person in the line is Tejas. Tejas Sarode. Tejas, are you there?
Hello.
Yeah. Please ask your question.
Yeah. Good noon, sir. So my question to Dev sir is that, as you told earlier, that SAT has been waived off from most of the universities in US. So is it the same case with IELTS in other countries and other universities?
He's asking you, Himanshu, that whether IELTS also are waived off.
See, in the US, there could be a chance that IELTS could be waived, because that's why I didn't talk about it, So IELTS or TOEFL can be waived for a lot of students. But here, IELTS or TOEFL is done to make sure that you will be able to study in the English system. English system here means English medium, because India is a country where we do not know actually the English proficiency. You know, you may be studying at a thorough English medium school, but sorry to say that we may not know whether you will be able to understand the professor speaking in English or not.
Okay.
You will be able to follow the books which are written by thorough English writers. That's why they need to know that. On the other side, there are other tests. Like right now, we are not able to take TOEFL or IELTS because we are not able to go to the test centers. So there is another test which is available like Duolingo.
Duolingo,
yes. Duolingo can be taken at home and you get the result within 2-3 days. So some way or the other, but let's say we are not able to do any of the tests. The universities are accommodating enough to get it from the school some way. And again, they would like to rate it. They would like to understand, because we are talking in English. So if I have to endorse that whether Tejas is able to talk in English or not, whether Tejas is able to follow English or not. But here we test 4 things: reading, writing, listening, speaking.
Yes.
So all those 4 things have to be cleared. But yes, there is a process, but no university will put it very clearly that we have waived TOEFL or IELTS for everyone. Because ultimately it would be important for you as well. It's like checking the size before wearing or buying a cloth. You know, if you don't fit into it, there's no point buying it, you know?
Yeah.
So it can be waived, but it's not waived automatically.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so we have Shweta. Shweta, are you there? Shweta, please ask.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask a question about the master's programs and the MBA programs in the US. I've been looking for almost a year into Wharton School and Tuck School of Business, and I just wanted to ask if it is preferable that I have some sort of working experience before I apply, because looking at the portfolios of people who got in this year in Wharton, they are a little older than me and they have some sort of work experience. But I also wanted to know if work experience would hamper my scholarship, which I would get in if I wanted to go to masters.
Okay, so that's a good question, Shweta. So one thing about MS and the other thing about MBA, right? Experience related to MS and experience related to an MBA. To get into a top MBA program, especially in the US, you need experience. Simple. A clear answer is yes, you need experience of around 3 to 4 years to get into a top MBA program in the US. 3 to 4 years of experience to get into a top MBA program in the US. Right? Now, coming to the scholarship. Whatever I said about 5 things, and scholarship explanation I give this way, and I hope you're able to see me. You raise your profile to this level to get an admission, you raise it to this level to get a scholarship. So scholarship is nothing different from an admission, right? It is all about how do you present yourself. So that experience may help you to get a scholarship if you are able to include that experience very well in your activities, in your letter of recommendation, in your essays. If you are able to incorporate that very well in these things, it will help you to get a scholarship.
Okay. And do you have the same thing about the masters? Because I'm already doing a program right now which is related to MBA.
Yeah.
I'm already doing that. So what I want to do is work for 2-3 years, gain category knowledge about something that I'm working on, and then eventually after 2-3 years get masters in those so that I can climb the ladder faster. That is what I think.
Yes. For an MS program, experience is not required.
Okay.
It may help It may help, but if you ask me categorically, like for MBA, I clearly say 3 to 4 years of experience, even if it is not required written. As an advisor, as a counselor, I would say it is required.
Okay.
For MS, you don't need it. So most of the MS around the world do not need it. Most of the top MS programs in the US, like when you talk about Wharton and you talk about University of Pennsylvania, let's say you want to get into a program in Masters in Computer Science and Cyber Security at Carnegie Mellon University or at UPenn.
Yeah.
To get into MBA program at Wharton or Columbia or Harvard or anywhere, it's different. For MBA, 3 to 4 years of experience is much needed. For MS, it's not needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
But would you say that, because you are getting into an MBA, if I suppose get into Wharton School for MBA and if I get into Wharton School for a normal business masters, would you say that the MBA is more appreciated?
It depends on the goal you have.
Okay. All right.
So if we have a goal that we really want to, get into the jobs which I would get through MBA, then MBA should be done. And if I think that I want to do an MS, maybe to get into a job which needs MS or maybe to do a PhD, I need MS, so that's a different issue, So it's all about our goal. So we need to explore our goals to understand what step do we take.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Other questions?
Yeah, thanks, Shweta. Okay, so next 4 people in line are Jayam Shah, Dr. Rakhi Desai, Shivam, and Aditya Adhav. So I would ask Jayam Shah to go ahead. Jayam, are you there?
Yeah. Hello.
Please ask your question.
Hi, Jayam.
Yeah, my question was being answered previous. Like I wanted to ask about MBA programs. Like
okay, good.
Yeah, so it's been answered. So, but then since I have opportunity, I would like to ask, can I speak in Hindi so that
yes, sure. Yeah.
both are comfortable? Okay. So, abhi like for example, US mein.
You can be a bit louder.
Yeah, sorry. Am I not audible?
No, you are audible. Just be a bit louder.
Okay, fine. Yeah, sure. So I meant to say, like, if we do MBA in foreign, say US, Canada, and then if we do MBA in India, so obviously there's difference in a lot of things, exposure and experience, etc. So and in India, if we do post grad and then still we don't have job security, or like a lot of things, like we don't get the way we are supposed to get on our qualifications. And whereas in US, if we do grad, but then so I wanted to ask, what is the difference, like the parameters which are differentiated between the post grad in India?
So you are looking at the value of an Indian MBA.
Yeah, and
the US, right?
Yeah.
So the output of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So one, that the biggest difference between Indian top MBA programs and American top MBA programs is, like I said before, which is a related question, that most of the people who would be studying with you for an MBA program in India would be freshers.
Okay.
They would not be coming from the industry, most of them. Some of them may be, but most of them are freshers because it's not a requirement. From IIT Bombay to go to IIM Ahmedabad, you don't need any experience. Not even a single internship is needed at the requirement level. On the other side, we discussed about Wharton or we discussed about some other programs. You mandatorily need the work experience. That is the first difference. Somebody who is sitting in a class, or the whole class coming with 3 to 4 to 5 years experience and then having a discussion. Let's say we discuss what should be the marketing strategy for a healthcare company during COVID-19? Right? So the people who are fresh will bring in only theoretical ideas. They will talk about theory which they read. On the other side, the people who are in the MBA classroom in the US would be bringing in stories from other tragedies, other calamities, other incidents, other accidents, other scenarios, other situations they would be bringing in. So you would be actually creating a lot of case studies.
Okay.
Other than that, the alumni connect. So what I appreciate about the American MBA programs is the alumni connect. Again, I'm not saying that the alumni connect is not there in Indian MBA programs, but we still have a long way to go. You know, if there is a CEO of a top company, let's say Bank of America CEO, when I was there, so Bank of America CEO was a graduate of my university where I was teaching, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. You know, so every student from there, if they wrote to the CEO of Bank of America, writing there that I would graduate. So you write your name, Jayam Shah, you know, bachelor's or master's at UNC Chapel Hill, 22 or 23 or something like that. That I am a student of the school where you are an alumni from. The chance of you getting a reply is almost 100%, even from CEO of Bank of America. That is the kind of alumni connect. So that is where we need to work on, and that is where our MBA programs need to work on. And that's why an institution like ISB, you know, which appreciates experience, which appreciates work experience, was able to run up the ranks very fast within the IIMs in India also.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the difference, major difference, and then of course there are other differences as well. But these two are major differences. One is the alumni connect because we talked about the output level, and the other one is that most of the experienced people are coming to join the classroom. Right?
Yeah.
I have.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, Jayam. I think that has stimulated a good discussion and good point. Thank you, Himanshu, for sharing that. Okay, so can we have Dr. Raki Desai? Dr. Raki?
Hello, sir. I'm Ashka.
Yeah,
And I
Ashka,
want to ask like that, I have developed an passion for learning Japanese. So would that help me in my future? Like, I know it's a dumb question, but if you would answer it.
Oh, I just missed the most important word. Learning what?
Japanese.
Japanese. Okay. Right. See, there are 2-3 purposes of learning a language. One, just learning a second, third, or fourth language opens up some parts in the brain. Whenever you're learning a different language, you know, let's say I know Marathi and I start learning Gujarati, or on the other side, I start learning French or Spanish or German, or on the other side, Japanese or something else, or even Tamil, Telugu, or Sanskrit. One, there is always an advantage when you are opening your mind to a new language. First. Second, you should raise any language to a certain level where you are able to communicate. Let's say you learn Japanese, right? And everybody of what you say, not of my age, but maybe little earlier, so I think 70s or early 80s, so everybody knew one word from Japanese, which was sayonara. You know, because of Asha Parikh's song, sayonara, sayonara, you know, something, something. So sayonara was like bye, 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 I'll see you later, I'll see you tomorrow. So sayonara, sayonara. You know, they knew about that. That is not enough. So when you are learning a language, you should be able to talk to somebody from Japan. It's as simple as that. Let's say a Japanese delegation comes. And I don't know how you greet. I know the bye-bye, but how do you greet in Japanese? Maybe you can let me know. But you
Like moshi moshi.
Huh?
Moshi moshi.
Moshi moshi. Yeah, I heard that as well. I think some people moshi moshi, right? So if I say moshi moshi, right? So the Japanese eyes will brighten, the face will light up. That oh. So then they will say with a smile, moshi moshi, moshi moshi. But after that, if you don't have anything to say, I wouldn't keep a language at that level. I would want that if I have the capability, and I'm not saying that don't learn moshi moshi or don't learn bonjour or don't learn namaste. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying learning a language should be taken to that level where you are able to follow the Japanese movies, where you are able to follow the Japanese songs, where you are able to follow the Japanese jokes, right? Where you are able to follow the Japanese news, you know? So whatever time you take, you may take 6 months, you may take 1 year, you may take 2 years, 3 years, whatever, you know? Raise it to that level that you are able to sit in the Japanese system. And wherever you are, then wherever you are, whether you are sitting in Bombay or you are sitting in New York, you don't have to go to Tokyo. If you are in New York or in Mumbai, you will find ample opportunities to showcase your Japanese skills. So you don't learn Japanese to go to Japan. You don't learn German to go to Germany. You don't learn French to go to France. But you learn to fit into that culture. You should be able to talk in that sense. So raise that language to A1, A2, B1, B2 levels. And maybe C1, C2 levels. And that will help you definitely in any of the careers which you take.
Thank you, sir. Actually, I'm in 9th grade, so is that okay for me? Like the right time, the right level?
Right, yeah. See, whenever you catch it up, my only thing is that you take it across because, because I gave you example of the US credit system, I'll give you an example. A lot of US universities want you to take 4 semesters of foreign language. Now 4 semesters means what? Let's say there is a student who is passionate about languages like you. Will take up the first semester Japanese, second semester Japanese, third semester Japanese, fourth semester Japanese. Right? Yes. On the other side, there is another student who doesn't like languages at all. But it is mandatory to take up 4 semesters of language. What they will do? Learn moshi moshi in semester 1, learn bonjour in semester 2, learn salut in semester 3, and learn namaste in semester 4. So they are just learning introductions in every language and then just try to fulfill that requirement of 4 semesters of foreign language. Now again, it's up to you which kind of student you want to be, right? So this is how it is.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for explaining that.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, now we have Shivam. Shivam, are you there?
Yes, sir. My name is Shivam.
Yeah.
Can I speak now?
Yes, Shivam.
Yeah, so I recently completed my 10th and now I'm taking science as my subject and I'm aiming for research. So after research, after 12th, I'll be going to an institute called ICER. And after ICER, I want to do my MS in abroad, like in Germany or in US. So what will be my path and what will be my co-curricular activities, like the activities you said?
See, Shivam, one thing which is missing here is the goal. So what is the goal you want to achieve in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years? What do you exactly want to do? Because I don't know what brought you to ICER, right?
Sir, it's my interest towards biology. I like zoology.
So biology does not relate it to ICER. See, I gave you the example of top universities. ICER, see, if I discuss that, it will take too much time, right? I would want to dig into it. why ISER or any other university comes to your option. You know, ultimately what is the goal? So right now what I would want to know is, let's say, what is your goal 10 years down the line?
I'm not like that fixed about it,
Yes.
but yeah, I want to become a scientist.
So that's what we need to think about. So what we have to see is that we have to see our goal and then work backwards. How, when, and what way will I be able to achieve that goal? See, this is a mistake which we do at a very common level. After 10th, we see, okay, which stream do I take? After 12th, we see, okay, what do I do in bachelor's? After bachelor's, we see, okay, what do I do in master's? Should I do master's? That's not the way to go about. We have to make a plan. Why are you doing a bachelor's? See, if I ask you, why do you do science? And what will you do at bachelor's level? If your love for biology is there, then, right? If your love for biology is there, why do you think that right after 12th, ISER is the best place to be, to pursue your biology passion? And after that, why MS in Germany or US would be the way to go to pursue your biology love, right? This is how we need to answer. So I'm not able to answer your question because the question has to be rephrased, the question has to be reworked, keeping the goal in our mind. What is the goal? Right? So depending on that goal, we will be able to work back. And that's how the extracurricular activities, that's how on a daily basis, we would be able to understand that what you can do. Right? And then on the other side, I will also like to see what are the activities you are already involved. Because our life is not about the subject only. Your goal should not be decided just because you love biology, that's why you want to do something. Because I would want to know why you like biology. Because there are other subjects which you have not even studied. Did you study economics? Did you study neurobiology?
No.
Did you study, you haven't studied calculus yet because you are still in grade 10? You haven't studied calculus? You haven't studied, what subjects are introduced later? Any of the subjects. I'm not saying that study those, but what I'm saying that you are deciding something on one basis. Because that's what the world is asking you. Okay, beta, what is your favorite subject? Okay, biology. Now, if we don't tell you which are the subjects, right? So I don't have a direct answer to it, but these are few thoughts which I would want to put in. One, we have to see what are the activities you are involved in. I would like to see your timetable. And then I would like to see your goal. And then we will be able to discuss. And of course, I look forward to discussing with you one-to-one.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right?
Thank you. Yeah, Himanshu, I mean, what you said, I echo that because that's the lacuna we have in our system that, students do not have much clarity as to what they need to do. They don't work on the goal. They only work on maybe basis the subjects or the streams. Okay, so that's a little, I would say, a limitation of our education system. Yeah. Okay, so can we have a next person in line, Aditya Adhav? Aditya, are you there, Aditya? So after Aditya, I'm going to call out Harshada and Mohit Shah. Aditya.
Hello.
Yeah, Aditya.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, please ask your question. Yeah.
Aditya Adhav, I'm currently studying in 12th standard and I'm preparing for IIT. So actually, is it possible for me to prepare myself for the 2022 application instead of 2021 application, as I'm currently I'm following JE. So
okay, yeah. So I understand that question. So your question is that right now your goal is to go to IIT, and right now you're focusing on your grade 12 exams and IIT preparation. So you want to keep it as a plan B that let's say you don't get into IIT. So maybe you can try for the year 2022 for the US or something like that, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. So the answer is yes, you can do that, right? And as soon as we come to know that we haven't cracked into IIT, we need to work on the other stuff. So right now it could be a plan B, but we have to work towards it a little bit. You know, maybe you're spending just few hours towards that plan B every week. I'm not saying you concentrate on that, but that plan B should also be pursued from now itself. And as soon as we understand that we are not able to crack into IITs, so then you switch to plan B and we work towards it. So to answer that question, yes, it is possible. Second, a gap year will not hamper your chances for good admissions and scholarships. If you have a genuine reason, you can always go forward to it. And I have advised people at different levels. One, the people who took a break, the people who join an institution and then dropped out of it and then went for it. So all of that is option which can be explored.
Yeah, hi. That's a good suggestion from you. I'm Aditya's father. The timeline, what you told me that it's about till January that the application must go, and he's already in mid of everything because of pandemic. The kids have already lost so many curriculum, you know, and they are preparing online and all. Now, do you think that is it a very hectic schedule to prepare for the application in January? The five.
Yeah, see, I understand that. See, I wouldn't want to take away, and maybe you are very serious about IIT, but the most serious person about IIT may also fail, right? So I also prepared for IITs, and I spent like my day used to start at 4 a.m. until 12 midnight. I was on, you know. So 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. my coaching was there, and then 7 to 3 my school was there, and then again from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. my coaching was there, and then 9 p.m. I would come back at 10 p.m. So these are only the classroom hours and travel time. So I understand what it goes into IIT preparation, and then I didn't get through. So having said that, we can put away some time and keep an option. Let's say we want to keep that as plan B, and with the limited time, and starting on 16th of August, if we see that what is that limited time which I can take away from Aditya's schedule per day, even if it is, you know, I don't know how many hours he sleeps. Let's say he sleeps, because IIT aspirants don't sleep much also, but let's say he sleeps for 7 hours. If I can take away half an hour from that more and cut that sleep down to 6.5, or maybe get half an hour from somewhere else. And if we see that every alternate day, he would be able to spend half an hour or 1 hour, or let's say in a week, he would be able to spare 2 hours or 3 hours very sincerely towards the plan B. Even that we can work on. So we have to see what is that maximum to minimum which we can spare from his IIT journey to work on plan B. So is it possible? Yes, it is possible, because it is all about efficiency, you know. So the people who are busy in multiple plans does not mean they will fail in their plans. A lot of times we have seen the people who are working on 3 things, they get success in all 3 as well, you know. So having said that, I would say that we need to explore. I need to see his schedule and the timetable, how and what way is he spending all the time, and if I can take away some time to work on that plan B, which may become plan A later on. Right? So I hope I was able to answer that. So we can explore.
All right. So probably much more can be discussed once we have one-to-one discussion.
Yes. Yeah. So Mr. Vijay will talk to you about how you can schedule.
Yeah, I have already put in my phone number in the chat, so maybe you can get in touch with me, and we'll have we'll set up a call for you. Yeah, so can we have Harshada and Mohit Shah? We are running short of time, guys. So please hurry it up. Harshada, please ask your question. Hello? Harshada, are you there? Okay, can we have a Mohit? Mohit, are you there?
Harshada is coming on.
Okay.
Yes, Harshada.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Please ask your question.
Sir, I am currently yes, sir. Sir, I am currently in 12th standard. I wish to study medicine further in US. What should be my further steps, or I need to give NEET, or is there any other examinations also that I should be give? And what is the procedure to go for it?
Okay, Harshada. So this is a long answer, but a very short too. So in short, you cannot study medicine after 12th in the US. First thing. Now, how does medicine work? So you can get into research, like you can study biotechnology, you can study biology, and then you do masters in, let's say, cancer biology, biochemistry, or immunology, that kind. Like that girl which I talked about, who went with low GRE to Harvard Medical School. So she went to Harvard Medical School at the master's level to do masters in immunology. Now, she went to the medical school, but she did not do MBBS or MD or MS like that. That was a research master's which she got into. So she did a bachelor's in biotechnology and then went to the Harvard Medical School to do masters in immunology, but not to become a doctor, which we see on a doctor basis. That medicine does not happen at the bachelor's level in the US. You do your bachelor's and then you go to a medical school in the US. And NEET is needed to come back and practice in India wherever you go. So NEET is required, is mandatory to practice in India even later on. Let's say you do NEET and go somewhere and you get an MBBS or any degree there and you come back and you want to practice it here. Then you need NEET, right? So there are three things here. One, getting into medicine or medical school, not to become the doctor, not the one who is giving you the medicine, but the one who is researching that medicine, developing that medicine, like the medicine people who are working towards the corona vaccine or working towards cancer are also at the medical school itself. But they are not the ones who will give you the medicine. They are not the ones with the stethoscope. They are not the ones with the surgery knife, right? So you need to explore that, which kind of medical school you want to. Bachelor's level medicine does not happen in the US.
Sir, I have one more question. I have a strong English language, so how can I use it in my professional career? Can it happen that I could teach English subject to some school in abroad, and how can I, what is the qualification for that? Do I need to give some extra additional exam for that?
See, English knowledge and English proficiency can be used and should be used in every field, because whatever you do, it is about communication, right? Like, I am not talking about English, but if I was not good in English, I wouldn't be able to create an impact on all these students and to you all. How I am able to inspire you all, how I am able to work with you all. When I talk about electrical engineering, people think I'm an electrical engineer. When I talk about economics, people think I am an economist. When I talk about psychology, people think I'm a psychologist. What is that? It's not that I'm fooling everyone. It is all about how I am able to communicate about something. So what I say about English is about communication. In every industry, we need people who can communicate well. And again, the normal language for communication is always English. So let's say you become a doctor. You would be a better doctor if you are able to communicate better. You will be able to present your research papers better. You will be able to write them better. You will be able to go to the conferences. You will be able to come on TV, right? So your communication skills can be used in any industry. So I would rephrase it. More than English teaching, it is about communication. It is about communicating with people. So with English, you would be able to communicate well, and with good communication, you would be able to create a career for yourself. Okay.
Does that sounds good to you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Can we have Mohit, please? Mohit Shah.
Hi, Kavita Shah here. I'm Mohit's mother. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, my son has passed out standard 10 this year, and now he is doing his science for 11th and 12th. Now he wants to become an astrophysicist. Okay, so I just wanted to know what is the procedure for that after 12th? Is it advisable to do the undergraduation course in the US, or after graduating in India, he can do further studies? I just want your guidance regarding that.
Yeah. See, both can be chosen. You know, you can study in India, you can study in the US. So your purpose is that he wants to go and become an astrophysicist. So there are universities in the US which offer you astrophysicist, astrophysics at the bachelor's level. You can also do at the master's level. The difference here is, which I already told, in India, if you're doing anything, whether it is astrophysics or it is mechanical engineering or it is computer science, you are studying only that.
Okay.
Right? So you are studying only that. That is the difference. And when you go to the US, you are not studying only that. So that is the difference in path. Now, which is better and which is, suiting you more, that we can evaluate, because some students are able to focus very well and some students are not able to focus on scoring very well. And the other thing about India is, in India, to get into the top schools, whether you are interested in astrophysics, right, you have to be good in math, physics, chemistry, right?
Okay.
PCM. You have to be good in PCM to get into any, and good means topper. To do astrophysics at a top college in India, you have to be a topper at your CBSE level, at your entrance level, right? So it could be a plan A or it could be a plan B, but then you don't have to be a topper to get into a top astrophysics program in the US.
Okay.
So the answer is not about astrophysics actually, the answer is about the system of entry, the system of survival. So how you are able to enter into, let's say astrophysics, I apply students to Harvard and University of California, so there you can get in without being a topper. On the other side, if we talk about astrophysics in any of the Indian IIT or something like that, you have to be a topper. Then at the survival level, you have to be super focused on astrophysics only. You won't be doing other things. But let's say there are other things which you want to do. You want to take a class in geography. You want to take a class in psychology. You want to take a class even in astronomy. You want to take a class in, space science. I don't know. It could be anything. So that is all allowed in the US. So the systemic difference is more than choosing between the two. But then of course you can go for bachelor's abroad, you can go for master's abroad, you can go for PhD abroad. That's all open.
Okay, okay. And one more thing, that if he choose one of the branches of engineering like mechanical engineering, I think, which is the base of astrophysics, is it advisable? Because right now he has just passed out standard 10th, and their choices are changes after maybe a span of 2 years or 4 years doing graduation over here. So mechanical engineering is the base of the astrophysics if he wants to do further in the US. after graduation?
I don't think that mechanical engineering would be the base of astrophysics.
Okay.
That we would say, because again we say that PCM is the base to study engineering in India, right? That's what we believe. You tell me, in the Indian system, does this question does not, come to the student? So this question does not come to the student, parent, or the board people, that why do you need physics, chemistry, and math to do bachelors in computer science? Again, I'm challenging the system.
Yeah.
We believe, why do you, okay, physics and math I understand to a level, do mechanical engineering, but why I can't drop chemistry and take up something else?
Correct.
On the other side, see, we have created the systems and we throw those systems on the students. Now, because I'm talking on a daily level on the new national education policy as well. So it is a very welcome decision. And why we have introduced the flexibility? See, we are not learning from America. This is our own. Our own Indian culture and our own Indian education system was about flexibility. It was not about just doing only one thing. So I'm very glad, I'm very happy that we are going back to it. I will never say that we are learning from the Western world to give liberty and flexibility. Of course we are learning from them. I'm not saying that we are not learning from them, but I can feel proud in the fact that actually that's how our system was. When we used to take our kid to the guru at the Gurukulas in India or any of the systems, I never said that, okay, this is how he gets in and this is what he will do on a daily level. So when Arjun learned Dhanurvidya was not the only one which he was doing. He studied other things as well. Recently speaking, I will give example of, I don't know, so getting involved in so many other things, but then we talk about Swami Ramdev, So I met him at one of the Gurukulas, so where he was. At that time, he was being taught Sanskrit, science, philosophy, right? On the other side, he got interested in Ayurveda and yoga. 99% of people who were studying at Gurukulas got interested in Sanskrit or philosophy, right? And now he developed that yoga and Ayurveda into the largest, biggest industry here. Again, that may not be the best example, but I wanted to give that example where those things were being touched in the Indian culture to a level. But in the traditional system, which is the current traditional system, the changes are welcome. So going back to your question, we can't really say, because any astrophysics problem will not be solved by only physics or by only mechanical engineering.
Okay.
I would say to study astrophysics, we have to look into the current stuff. What actually excites me about astrophysics? What actually excites me about physics? What is the mechanical engineering system? Will the 4 years of mechanical engineering kill my astrophysicist? It may happen that in those 4 years I become pragmatic and I join a job as a mechanical engineer. I can join Tata Motors, I can join the mechanical engineering companies, I can join Boeing, I can join wherever. But ultimately, will it kill my astrophysicist? Maybe yes, maybe no. See, we have to explore it, and we don't have to take the things for granted. I understand that choices are tough, and we have to make choices within our reach. That's why plan A, plan B, plan C is something we always work on, right? So we need to explore, we need to share. Maybe he's not interested in astrophysics, or maybe he's not interested in mechanical engineering, right? So this is how we need to explore. I hope I was able to strike a chord and I look forward to discussing. Mohit.
Yeah, I think that was a very, very elaborate answer, Himanshu. And what I gather from it is that Arjuna was majoring in Dhanurvidya.
Yeah.
He also did other minors. Okay. And I think I had reserved one question. I think that's a bonus question for all our audience, because I was hoping that someone would ask that, but they didn't. Okay. But I'm very keen to ask you this question: why America? What is that America story? Why everyone is after America? What is that American dream? If you can just elaborate, because here I think in this entire session, if I have to sum it up, what you actually added value is that you gave a lot of clarity as to why we are doing what we are doing. Okay, and hence my question is that why someone need to choose US? What is that there? Okay, so please elaborate.
Yeah. So one is that, like I said before, no problem is solved by one discipline. So the undergraduate studies, the bachelor studies are about multiple things. And that is one advantage which you get at the bachelor's level in the US, that actually you are touching on multiple things to become a problem solver. Of course, you will choose one field, but within that one field, let's say I become a mechanical engineer, I would be able to become a better mechanical engineer if I study psychology, sociology, and culture also. If I have to make a bridge as a civil engineer, or a road bridge or a rail bridge, right? If I understand the culture, if I'm able to understand the psychology of the people in that area, I would be able to design it better. I will be able to work on it better, right? Let's say I study economics and I study history also, and I study sciences also. I would be able to explain my things properly. Like Amartya Sen, who has been one of the top economists, of India and America, wrote a book of about 150 pages, of course on economics, right? He was able to write the same thing as an appendix in 5 pages. So a book which he talks about different things, economics related, in 150 pages. On the other side, he was able to say the same things in 5 pages using math. This is one thing which we have done in India. We have separated math and economics. Even at bachelor's and master's level, we are not doing a math which we are supposed to do. So this is one beauty about the US undergraduate bachelor system, where you are doing interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary things. That is at the curriculum level. Now I come to the entry level. Like these stories which I shared, 40% marks, 50% marks, top scholarship, this, that, working at Amazon, with a 4-point GPA, working at Amazon, with 25 backlogs, later on working at BMW. I don't think that is possible in India at all. Again, what you can do is, you can grow in the industry. After 15 years, 20 years, maybe you can start a company and you can hire those people. You can say that in India, that I had 25 backlogs, now I have hired 25 IIT toppers. That is possible. But at the entry level, it's not possible. So the kids which we have here, leaving out the top 10, all others, so the people who are scoring 60%, 70%, 80%, where is the entry point for them in Indian institutions? I have to be a topper to get into a top college. It's as simple as that. I have to top 10th to get into 11th. I have to top 12th to get into good bachelors. I have to top bachelors to get into good job. I have to top bachelors to get into a master's program, or I have to crack the entrance exams. In the US, it's flexible. So there is something for everyone. We talk about Sundar Pichai as one of the most achieving Indians currently, right? When he became CEO of Google, the Indian journalists who are always excited about these things, they tried to search where did he go to college. They got to know he went to IIT Kharagpur. They called IIT Kharagpur and asked, Sundar Pichai was your student, we want a bite. Again, no offense to IIT Kharagpur. They said, we don't have any Sundar Pichai. No Sundar Pichai graduated from our college. Right? Again, no offense, and I don't know whether this story is really true or not, but it just comes as an example. What happened was that he was enrolled as P. Sundar. Right? So a lot of people did not remember him. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't a topper also. Maybe he was. But maybe he wasn't a topper. Not everybody remembered him. And in India, we have such a huge population. We don't remember that. But if this was the case, so he went to, I think, Stanford to study something, right? So if you go to those professors, they would remember you because the interaction you have there. When I talk to students here, get a letter of recommendation from your professor. In India, we say that they don't remember us. They won't remember us. Again, nothing against them, but that's how the system is. It won't happen. If I write, if anybody calls any of my professors at North Carolina State University, anybody calls up, anybody writes to Dr. Harry Hobbs, who was my program director, to Professor, Moog, who was my guide. If anybody talks to them, that Himanshu Dev was presenting on something, they will know who Himanshu is. This is the system. So again, welcoming the new national education policy in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, we will see a difference hopefully in Indian system as well at the high school level, at the college level, at the research level. But as of now, the flexibility and availability for the average kids is available there. This is what my biggest attraction to education there is, and also scholarships. A huge number of universities are open to give you 100% scholarship. Right? There are a lot of universities, and every year there are so many students who get up to 100% scholarship. I studied in the US on 100% scholarship. I wouldn't have been able to do that. There are people studying in the US who are paying much lesser than what their Indian friends are paying in Mumbai. Right? This is what we have to explore, and these are few reasons why US should be explored. I'm not saying go there because I don't represent US Department of State anymore. I'm not representing Education USA anymore. But even then, I wasn't recommending it like that. Go to US, go to US, go to US. But I would want you to go to the best place possible for you. Maybe US is not the best fit, but I would be happy to explore.
Okay, thank you, Himanshu, for creating such an engaging, I would say, a classroom. Okay, because you have really nicely elaborated on each and every question. You gave a lot of examples. Okay, and absolutely, I would say that this is very unlike overseas education webinar, which we typically get to see, okay, where people will only talk about, okay, this is the process, you need to do this, to go to USA, vagara, but you have created a lot of stories, okay, and so fantastic way, and I had promised my audience that you are one of the great storyteller, and I think, okay, so thank you for creating such engaging time for all of us with a lot of learning and a lot of insight and a lot of tips and cues. Okay, I'm sure our entire audience are the beneficiary of it. Okay, and I'm sure a lot of them would like to connect with you in person, and I think very soon we'll create that kind of an opportunity. Okay, so thank you very much on behalf of all my audience and all the people who are involved in the preparation. Okay, so thank you so much, Himanshu, for taking time from your busy schedule. Okay, and I'm really honored to have you on this program. Okay, and creating inspiring possibility for their careers and life. Okay, and I think that's my endeavor, that's our endeavor. Okay, that creating possibilities and inspiring possibilities. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you all for joining me, and thank you, Mr. Vijay, for having me here. You know, we would love to interact with you one-to-one. Don't hesitate in contacting us. I would love to take all your journeys forward to the best aim, to the best goal. And as you saw that I work very, very personally on each and every case, and I don't have ready answers for any of you. We would love to explore. We would love to go together and find the best things for you. I look forward to chatting with you one-to-one and working with your families to work on your journeys. Some things could be for free. Some things are service-based. Of course, this is my profession. So we will offer you packages. Again, not very costly, and again, not talking about money only, as you would know. But of course, there would be certain paid and unpaid packages which you can always take advantage of. I love to, I would love to see you all one-to-one, and all the best. Do well, follow your passion, follow your top 10, and do not get just influenced by unresearched dictating terms from anyone, including me. All the best.
Thank you.
Best wishes.
Thank you. It was a wonderful 2 hours and 20 minutes session. Yeah, one of the longest. Yeah, thank you. So I'm closing the meeting. Okay, thank you so much once again. And I wish everyone belated happy Independence Day. Okay, so enjoy. Please keep yourself safe. Do not venture out unless it is necessary. Thank you.